Exhaling through the nose. Resting our hands onto our knees, palms, both thighs, palms facing up. Gently opening our eyes. We will take 4 segmented inhalations through the nose, it's like little sniffs of air. Yeah, so 4 through the nose. Your hands come up to your throat chakra. Then we turn the palms down. Exhale, open mouth. Inhale. And as always, really pull your navel towards your spine on your exhalation. Palms facing down when you go down, up when you go. So you're receiving energy, opening up, and you exhale, you're letting go. One more minute. Last round. Palms facing down, touching your knees, straighten your spine, tuck your chin, bring your head slightly back. Just feel into your chest region, into your rib cage. Regulate your breath. And consciously breathe and widen your rib cage on your inhalation. And then we open our eyes, we bring our palms facing upward again, in front of our solar plexus. We inhale, we're reaching forward. Big inhalation, coming all the way back to the solar plexus, turning our palms around, exhaling, going opposite direction. Inhale, we give. And then with the exhalation, we bring energy back towards ourselves. Inhale, palms facing up, circling outward and around. Let me turn around, exhale. So that the giving and the receiving comes to balance. It's fine once in a while to give more or to receive more, but if it's a constant more giving, we get out of balance. As if it's a constant giving, sort of out of balance. Receiving is really wonderful if it's in balance as much as possible. If you're in here, feels a little shorter, then increase in your life taking in. Feel my rounds. Our ability to let in allows for the ability to give. The last minute. And do your last repetition. And then rest your hands back onto your knees, eyes stay closed. In and exhale through your nose. Bring your left hand onto your heart center, right hand on top. Now inhale and lean forward. Bring your right hand behind you. Exhale over your head in front of your face, coming back to your heart. Switch hands. With your left hand, go over to the right. And exhale. See what you like to share this morning. What you would like to bring in. All breath is through the nose. Keep your eyes closed if it feels comfortable. We feel more when our eyes are closed. Last minute. Do your last round. And then keep your hands at your heart center, eyes stay closed, preferable. Long deep breath. Now open your eyes, bring your hands onto your knees, palms facing up. And then right hand moves onto your left shoulder, left hand onto your right. Then move both arms forward, swing them around, overhead, and come into prayer pose. Hands onto your knees, palms facing up. Right hand to the left shoulder, left hand to the right shoulder. Arms moving forward. Figure 8. Overhead. And exhale back towards your heart. Rest your hands onto your knees. Right hand, left shoulder, left hand, right shoulder. Cross in front. And exhale. And just continue. Nurturing your heart. Your spirit. Your astral and your divine plane. And finding your own breath pattern. Be in the softness of this movement. Present to the softness of your heart. Even the softness of your breath. We will do our last round. Keep your hands at your heart center, forearms parallel to the floor. And ground. Inhale, count to 3. Exhale, count to 6. All breath through the nose. With this mudra, you bring balance to the heart and to your mind. Inhaling, count to 3. Exhale, count to 6. Do your last round. And slowly, when you're ready, you place your hands onto your knees, palms facing outward. And then when you're ready, gently open your eyes.
Thank you, Siddhi. Okay. I would first like to welcome Maria to our circle today. She's joining us from Northern California. And thank you, Maria, for being with us. And I would like to let you guys know that City and I are going to hold a gathering on June 30th. It's a Friday in Palo Alto at a beautiful place called the Yoga Loft for a few hours in the late afternoon into the evening. So any of you that can join us, and I believe Lydia, is it true, Lydia, that you will also be joining us as a sound healer for our gathering? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Lovely. So City and Lydia and I will offer something for several hours for an opportunity for our community to come together. So we invite all of you. We'll give you more information as it comes closer, but save the date. So today we're going to talk about letting go, control and letting go. When we lose the illusion of control, when we're most vulnerable and exposed, we discover that the creative potential in our lives is unlimited. But it requires us entering into a position of vulnerability and a position of surrender. We've talked a lot about surrender, and I think in our lives, if we have to choose one quality to enter into, that we will say that surrender is the most challenging. We're so used to being in control and being able to manifest things the way we want, that we have lost the access, which is naturally there, but we've lost the access to being able to walk in this creative cauldron of the cosmos, where the cosmos creates and puts things together in a really beautiful way. But because we've honed this way of being in control, we're less interested in allowing the cosmos to unfold and the universe to take on its own state of perfection, which may not meet our criteria for perfection. So from a Buddhist lens, we're always experiencing successive births and deaths. When we say death, most of us imagine death of the body, a physical dying, but this is only one type of death. In the human embodiment, we are dying in so many more nuanced ways, moment to moment. Death of our expectations, death of relationships, death of memory. A lot of us are addressing that as we're aging. Death of our contribution. What is our contribution into the world? How is that shifting as we're aging? Death of our energetic vitality, even death of beliefs, certain things that we held to be true, that as we have matured, we recognize may or may not actually be truth, at least not truth in a consistent manner, that periodically they may be truth. And how do we let go of that, that belief that has held up certain parts of our life and now no longer serves us? So all death, especially when no option seems available and when there's no room for negotiation. So I think we all have honed the art of negotiating, whether you're negotiating with God or you're negotiating with just the essence of the community that we're in and the cosmos that we operate in. Most of us negotiate. You'll even say mentally, I'll do that if this happens. Like, I promise I'll not do whatever I think I shouldn't be doing, but first this has to happen. So we're setting up certain criteria whereby we feel that we still have some power because we've traded something. We've been in some sort of a bartering, but that's not really how it works. So when this change, when our inability to control something and a situation comes up and there is no room for us to negotiate or barter, we have this rupture in the who am I-ness, because without that control, who am I? Am I just a listless boat going wherever the winds happen to blow me? Do I have no power over my life, no sovereignty? How do I actually enter into that experience? What does that look like? So then we crack apart and we come to appreciate at the deepest, most felt level what it means to die while we are still alive. So this is our journey, is learning how to die into the moments so that we're practicing the art of dying from the physical. That's the last place that we will experience death, is in the physicality, but we're given the opportunity our entire life to practice what it feels like to let go. So the real art for us is to be letting go while we're alive, to die to these small things that we hold on as so important, so valuable in our lives. And when they start to shift, to allow them to shift naturally, to allow that death to happen so that we can practice how it feels to be letting go. In the Buddhist Tibetan tradition, there's a term called bardos, and that means intermediate state. And it's not just referencing us to an intermediate state like afterlife, before you're reborn, but afterlife. It's also referring to these moments when these gaps occur, when we understand that the continuity that we had projected or imagined our life to look like is actually not true. You expected your life to have this certain path, and certain things would happen at certain times. And when those things don't happen, we fall into a gap. Sometimes we'll call that being in a limbo state, where we're in between. And typically we don't like being in between. So what we try to do is to fill it. We can't control it, we'll fill it. We'll just have more things to do. And that's not actually the solution to learning to let go, is not to fill in with something else so that you don't feel the discomfort of the letting go. Anyone who has experienced, all of you, we've all experienced at various times in our life, the state of letting go of something, whether it's a relationship or it's the death of a loved one, or it's a career change, or it's recognizing that we're moving from a certain age vitality to a new vitality, a more wisdom-directed vitality, less the physicality. Every time we move into that reality, we have a sense of this loss that has come to us, and we generally don't want to identify it as loss because we know these are natural transitions, but we still feel it as an energetic experience, as an emotional experience, that we've lost something. This state of limbo of moving from one course to another is very challenging when there isn't something that we can define. We work really well when we can define something, a path or a project. We tend to want to use our language to express and to contain and to quantify our life. And language is just not full enough. It's not nuanced enough, and it doesn't come quickly enough to be able to do that. So that becomes just a mind process. We need to move out of that mind process and more into the energetics of the movement of what's happening when we're having to let go of things. This place of limbo, when we go in between things, this is often when we feel loss of something that we cannot contain and we cannot give reference to. This is often where religion comes into people's lives. When there's a state of unreality, they need something that gives them a sense of reason. And religion has been built, most religions have been built on very, I can say dogmatic, but very pragmatic processes. So they can simply put you into the process where you need to enter, and there's a structure. So we're exchanging one structure from another. There's nothing wrong with religion, only that we use it so that we don't have to actually develop our own internal structure. If we're doing that, then we're shortcutting ourselves because we have the capacity. But if we're using it as a way to embellish or to take what it is that we already know is truth and expand into it, then we can really enjoy it. And it can be a beautiful coloring, a beautiful nuance to how we are in our lives. So dealing with this disruption, this change from one understanding of reality. So what is really the truth of our existence and the most profound way we can live our lives is to be honest about reality. What is really true, not what we wish would be true, not what we want to color to be looking a certain way for either the exterior world, our external world, or even our internal world, but to actually confront that which is true. We talked last week about letting go, how to let go of expectations with people in our lives that may not be showing up in the way we wish they would. and how often we reframe that as a certain, because we want, it's a reality, but we don't want to face that they maybe just aren't in relationship with us the way we want. So we make up all sorts of new realities to hold on to. So we have to let go of the realities we have fabricated in order for us to not be in discomfort, and agree that we can actually handle them. You can handle whatever the truth is of the situation is less painful than you having to shore yourself up to hold up a mirage of what you want it to look like. That takes much more energy and much more of our life force than if we simply sat with what is true and we allowed the disappointment or the confusion or the anger or whatever's coming up for us to actually move through us, because that's normal. That's expected. When we have situations that are not working well for us, we're going to have emotions. We don't have to reframe it so that we don't have to have an emotion. I'm going to reframe it this way, and that's my new reality. And now I don't have to feel sad. Better, we should move through the emotions and through the process of seeing something for what it is, whether it's a person or a situation, even the worldview. It doesn't mean that we don't try to support change, because we do. We're always looking for some evolution, some transformation that can happen. But in that, we don't hold up that there's a story of what it would look like. We hold up that I'm willing to be in the transformation process, but I have to actually acknowledge the truth of it before I can be in that process. When we look at reality as how we see it when it's being disrupted by something, this is what there's a space that we can move into called shunyata. It means emptiness. And when we move into this void, into this boundlessness, this spaciousness, there's an opportunity for all sorts of things to come up. We've talked a lot about being in the state of emptiness, which just means that we've left space for new reality, the truth of the reality to emerge. When we have a preconceived, or when we structure reality to be a certain way, that we close off the spaciousness. There's no room for the breath to come in. We've already concretized the idea of whatever the reality is. So we have to find a way to let go of that and open up with the spaciousness of our capacity, so that new creativity and new ideas can come together within ourselves. We're so creative and we're so able to transform. Naturally, we do that. But when we construct something that's so tightly binding something does not allow us to have boundlessness. We need boundlessness. Emptiness is traditionally in the spiritual world associated with presence, with clarity, and with compassion. So the idea of emptying out ourselves and allowing for the truth of reality to come into us so that it can evolve and transform into the truth of what it needs to be, puts us in the realm of presence, clarity, and compassion. And that's how we want to live our lives. We want to live our lives out of a sense of we are present to what is actually happening, the truth of what is actually happening. And then we're talking about giving up our preconceived notions and allowing for the subtle game of life. Life is a subtlety. Sometimes it crashes around us and it doesn't feel that subtle, but there's a subtlety. And until we enter into that subtle nature, we're just dealing with gross movements. We're moving one big ticket item someplace like this. We're just moving things on a game board. We want to be in the more subtle, more intuitive nature of living. And the way we get there is that we take in life as the reality that it is, not the reality that we would like it to be. Not the reality that we would like it to be. And we stop being the recipient of a suffering because we've grasped onto it to stay the way that we had already decided we wanted it to be. We wouldn't allow the loss of it. So now we're seeing and experiencing a person in your life as being something other than what they are because you want them to be that. Let them be who they are and you come to terms with that. Or let the situation be what it is and you come to terms with that, because you'll be living in a place of spaciousness that allows you the potential to shift that if that's possible. We leave the openness and the spaciousness for shifting. We let go of the pretense and the striving and the grasping for something to be a certain way. Our mind is taken up with so much energy of us trying to construct reality into something else. We have to let it be what it really is and sit with it. So this week, as we go forward, I would like you to choose one aspect of your life, one person, one experience in your life that you know is pulling you into perceiving it in a way that it isn't, so that you can handle it. So you make up a story around it and let it go. And let the reality of that relationship or that experience or that structure or that loss in your life be truly what it is. And let yourself experience that and the fullness of that experience, so that you can create openness and spaciousness, so you can have transformation within yourself around the constructs of your life. We want to have that spaciousness so that our life can have the room for movement. Again, we want to be wearing that kaftan, not wearing that yoga outfit. We want to have less structure of what we think something is and isn't, and allow it to be more fluid. Let go of things. Good luck this week, ladies.
If you can, just sit with your hands open, palms facing the heavens.
देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्सुः ॐ तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं